We are recording. So we'll begin today with uh, Professor Kenobi. See, where we left off, Professor Kenobi had the conversation that was transpiring broke up at the last time Professor Kenobi was here. Tesara went one way, Durro and Phelan went another way, and the professor opted to just find a nice place where he could watch the stuff going on. Interesting. Um, Prior or shortly after that, Mr. Kenobi, you got a chance to watch the locals start to get ready to go through some of their, more traditional stuff. The warriors kind of size each other up. It feels a lot like watching a wrestling match before the wrestling match begins. A lot of, puffing of chest and trying to psych the other side out.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see similarities, yet also a lot of differences. There is one thing that your keen eye will notice. The two groups are definitely from the same form of ancestry. There's way too many similarities between, their the way their eyes are made up, the way their hairs are done, bone structure, facial structure, even down to, even though the weapons appear different, but the style in which they made the weapons are similar. So they share a similar ancestry. What else?
With who?
Um, that's a good question. With who?
Hmm.
There is one thing that you've noticed that seems to be prolific between the two tribes. It's not something overt that Professor Kenobi would notice. Not notice, sorry, that the average person would notice. Like take for instance their flags, their religious symbols, but it's ornated on the ships. Some shields have it painted on there, and even right down to tannings that have been done on the walls of the huts. It's a common symbol. Give me a second. I will show you what that symbol is.
Ugh.
I will. Literally just had this thing. Now it just
It's one of the things I love about the game is the immersion, where you just get immediate visualization.
I there are times I hate you. Just want you to know that. Nothing personal, but he's like,
Oh no,
wow.
make it personal. That would just please me.
I know it would. That's why I'm not making it personal.
Ah,
because I know better. This is what I get. I had it laid out, dude. I know what I'm gonna. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to find the damn again.
it's okay. Take your time. I'm gonna go outside for a smoke. Yell for me.
uh, sometimes I just. There we go. Ah, done.
You want to switch over to Hadassah?
No, I'm done. I posted it. So stop
Okay.
harassing. Enjoy. The reason why I
I
posted.
only gotta enjoy like a quarter of a cig. All right, I'm back.
Okay, so the reason why I posted two is because they're two versions of the same symbol.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. One has the little spire cut off.
Yeah. But both versions appear on in both groups.
Is Fei Lin with me?
You do see her walking back from apparently from her conversation with
How does Duro looking?
he did not join her.
No, I mean, how is he looking?
What do you
Like,
are you asking
with
her?
no, like, how is he looking physically? Well, when I'm looking at him, because it's been a few minutes since I've seen him, how does he look?
He looks fine.
Does he still have that, fucked up thing with his face?
Um
Yeah, Duro and Fei Lin need to finish their conversation
I
before.
now I'm confused. I thought they were Dura, was y'all's conversation concluded?
Yes, the conversation was finished. You left us off last session with Duro exiting the hut. I
He
told you what I wanted him to be doing next, but you said, hold up. You
Okay.
wanted to freeze it with him coming out of her hut.
Okay.
he
So,
didn't I thought he had turned to leave and she was getting ready to say something else to him. Was that not the case?
No.
That was the impression I was left in. It was the reason I posted that. My bad.
nah, it's all right. It's good to clear those things up. But
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
as
yeah.
far as I'm aware, their conversation was finished.
Okay. I apologize, Professor. Your question about how Duro looks confused me.
It's quite all right.
So, but she does approach you. She does stuff a smile when she sees.
Hey, hey.
Hello. Or should
So
I
who you
say,
betting on? Hmm?
hello there?
Hello there.
He giggles. Um, our side, of course.
Ah.
Why? Why do you ask?
You know, I'm always curious to see an outside perspective around war. Because this is a very organized war. It looks kind of like a skirmish tournament.
Well,
I
it.
wonder, do you have betting on this world?
I don't
I'm much of a
know.
gambler.
I don't think so. This is the first time I've seen something like this. Though, from what I've studied, it has happened before.
Hmm.
I wouldn't bet against our side. Member of the High Council or not, we're not, well, considering that we're not in the regular galaxy, I suppose. Doesn't matter. I won't let my son I won't let my son die. Your thoughts?
I'm mildly distracted by the peanut gallery.
Mildly?
Mildly. You might even say a scooch.
uh, it was hilarious. I can't deny that.
I'll give a thumbs up to Phelan because I've got no real true answer about betting against her own family in this upcoming fight. I feel like saying more things is bad. Smile.
Why would you say that?
Say again?
Why would you say that?
No, I'm saying that out of character.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why I'm saying it to you.
Oh, okay.
The DM, not her, the character.
Tell me, Professor.
Yes.
Aside from fulfilling whatever question or quest you feel you have to fulfill, why else leave here?
Well, because I like technology, I like handyman, I like being irresponsible in the amount of drugs that I take. I like exploring the galaxy and finding new archaeological sites. I like the change in scenery. I've never felt comfortable sitting in one place at one time unless I had young, fresh minds to corrupt. That's about the only way that I've ever really settled in one place for a long period of time is teaching. Teaching's the only time I feel like it's worth staying in one place. It really is. And there's nothing to teach here.
Are you so
I could
sure?
teach them about war. I could teach them about diplomacy. I could teach them about, I could bring civilization to a certain place if I wanted to intervene. I could sit back and watch like you have chosen to do, retiring and settling down in a peaceful place where tribalistic people have what seems like very chivalrous duels to fight over instead of slaughtering their entire people. But I wouldn't be satisfied. Not truly. I could lie about it. I could say it would be easy. It wouldn't.
There is a time the old mentor step aside and let young adventurers go off. I was told that by my master just before he sent me back to Coruscant. Master Palpatine.
Master Palpatine?
Palpatine.
Hmm. Well, sure. I suppose I could just give him my ship.
Good.
Let him ride off into the sunset. The only problem with that is I've talked with the judges. In this conversation, this potential was possible, even convincible until I did that. But after the judges, my path is pretty clear to me on what I should be doing. Honestly, it's just faffing about. I'm just enjoying the company of them and will likely encourage them, but inevitably we're going to have to go and fight. It's all I've ever really done. There's no peace for me. I'm sure when I pass and I go into the great cycle of whatever next is going to happen, I'll still pop out a fighter.
Without a doubt.
Or maybe this is the end of Kenobi.
You know, the future isn't set.
If I have a happy ending, I'll come back. If only to hear more about my daughter and see you again, Phelan.
You smile. Well, there's still the ruins to the far west.
That'd be a good retirement. Go to the ruins of the who. Who can say what I'll find there?
Well, I know this. They're deep.
I do like plundering deep holes.
So, what they're going to do now is you see, they're bringing food out to our challengers. The elders demand for favor that be a good host, even those who are attacking you. And our attackers will be good guests until the time of conflict begins. They'll share meal tonight. There'll be stories at the fires and a few little ruckuses here and there, but beyond that, it'll be fairly civil. Some will even call each other brother before they go to try to kill each other tomorrow.
Sounds about right. I
Those
like that, though.
those men over there are the tribal elders for our visitors. They're going with the tribal elders of this village. They'll discuss terms and conditions of how tomorrow will play out. Most importantly, what is at stake beyond the life of children?
Hmm. And he smiles and he wonders, when is the activities going to begin?
The night will be celebration of yeah, spirits. They'll basically drink and celebrate, and for out any better words, they will celebrate the coming of death tomorrow. That's the only way many of them will seek eternal rest, is by having a good death in combat. It is,
That's common between warrior civilizations.
yes. And the worst part about it is, if you fail to achieve a good warrior's death, well, then we're trapped to come back and relive it again.
I wouldn't want to live this life again.
Shall we go down and drink and join the festivities?
Yeah, let us do that. And he will follow her to the festivities.
Okay. And on that, we'll go ahead and pause you two. Duro, refresh my memory on where you were going to go.
Doing so would require me remembering where I wanted to go.
I think it had something to do with going to the bathroom. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Duro had to go to the bathroom.
I think he had wanted to check in with Tesara or the professor, others who were in the village, see what updates had been or had happened while he was talking, if any, and then potentially return to the ship. Assuming Tesara was back already, because last I knew she was taking the girls back to the ship.
Okay. So give me a spot check.
All right, just a second. $13. That's without any origin bonus.
Okay. So as you're walking out there, you see Professor Kenobi and Phelan walking towards the large mass of people gathering at the mouth of the village. It looks like they're definitely setting up for some type of celebration. And Professor Kenobi and Phelan appear to be like they're heading that way to join.
Okay, I'm not going to be snarky in character. I will ask out of character. Does Phelan teleport like the Slender Man?
Why?
Because you paused Duro just outside of her hut right after finishing his conversation.
Oh. Well, you're right. Good call. Shit. Okay. So we'll back that one up. Um so you see a large mass of crowd of people. A lot of them are bringing food and material for building fires. You do not see Tesara.
Can he see if the speeder has returned yet?
You do not see the speeder.
What I meant was, if it was here, could he see it from where he is?
I mean, if that's your declaration to go see the speeder, you know where you left it.
No, like okay, like I said, I knew Tassara was taking the girls back. If I know that I could see the speeder where we left it from here, but I don't see it, then she's not back yet.
Just to make it easy for you, you do not see the speeder where you left it.
All right, fair enough. Hello?
Yes,
Did none of that go through?
I didn't hear anything but fair enough.
Oh, I said, well then let's go check out the party setup because even if I want to return to the Gungnir, he's not walking for an hour, even if he does need the steps.
Okay. So you head out there, and it's a very fascinating party. There's, the two different sides appear to be friendly towards each other, even sitting down and drinking together. I think the strangest thing Duro has ever seen is a group of warriors laughing, drinking, while one is sitting down. You recognize him as being part of the attackers, and one of the defenders has a knife and these gently carving through the hair a symbol in his hair.
Duro is going to just move around, within and around the proceedings and just observe unless invited to join anybody.
Okay. It's interesting, Duro. In a world bathed in light, imagine reaching out through the force and seeing the light through the force of this world, no different than the light the four suns base this world in.
Okay.
And then these shadows in the force moving around you, drinking, laughing, carrying on. It's it's very unusual.
Oh, I'm sure.
And most of them have, you know, melee style weapons. Some have sharpened sticks with points on them that you're pretty sure are, spears, axes. There's some pretty primitive swords to Duro standard. Um, they do have a small group has bows, and they're actually like looking at the different bows and the fletchings, and it looks like they're exchanging information about the differences between the two bows.
Looking around, does Duro see any sign of the leadership?
He does see a group of elders he recognizes because, well, he rode with them here, and they are talking to, well, the leader of this group, and somebody that an individuals that Duro's pretty sure is the leader of the raiding party itself. The elders are made up of 3 old men.
Well, I was going to have Durro go up to talk to him, but I just realized he has no translator. So I guess we will continue to observe and watch for the return of Tesara.
Okay. As you move through the crowd and get a sense of what's going on, do you have any general questions about what's going on?
I just think I have a good. I think I have a good idea.
Okay.
It's people hanging out and being friendly until it's time to kill each other.
You move through the crowd and you run up to Tasara, who is standing over there by Nazil and Jaren. It looks like they're engrossed in a kind of a heated, serious conversation, but it doesn't seem angry.
Durro will listen in, not eavesdropping, not trying to hide, but not butting into the conversation.
Tasara, give me a spot check.
Of course you asked that of me when I was nowhere near my computer. Give me just a moment.
That's because I'm spying on you through my all-seeing cucumber eyes.
Oh, don't give us that crap. We know Disney controls the NSA.
They only appear to be feeble. They're just letting DeSantis think. Though I did learn an interesting fact.
No.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna roll. You said spot?
Yep.
10 plus whatever her planet bonuses are.
Okay. So standing there talking to Nazil and Jaren, um, you make your final statements of, well, I think I have my answer now, and you notice off the corner of your eye, Duro kind of come into vision. He doesn't approach, but he's not making his presence hidden either.
Tesara will turn back to Nazil and Jaren and nod her thanks.
No, nod back.
And she'll turn around to go towards Durro.
Okay, you walk up to Duro. They do not join you.
Do they walk away or do they stand where they're standing before we were talking?
They take a few steps further away and then turn towards each other as if they're having a conversation.
So she kind of cocks her head a little, like she recognizes him, and then she sort of shakes her head, like in a very obvious follow me kind of gesture.
Was that directed at me?
Yes.
All right, he will follow.
So Tesara walks away far enough that, as far as she can tell, there is no one from this village who, if overheard them, would understand what they were saying. Is
Agreed.
that possible?
That is possible.
Okay. So she looks, it's hard to describe what she looks, but like there's she doesn't look as calm as she usually looks. So, how did your discussion with Phelan go?
It was enlightening. And how was your conversation with Nizeel and Jaren?
Also enlightening, but you go first.
Oh, I just asked her more about what you and Astra told me about. The discussions regarding the crusade and what they may or may not have done.
She frowns a little. And?
And I was not sold. It was I feel like I didn't catch that I was not supposed to let either of them know that they were potentially dangerous. I said something in passing to Haj about the potential being there and that I was going to try to find a way to fix it. But and then with that message I got from Astra, I'm thinking I made a terrible mistake. That's something I need to rectify. Well, soon, very soon.
She rubs her face a little bit. Well, Hodge is still in the Bacta tank, isn't she? I mean, that's something that she would need to do to continue to heal.
She wasn't in the tank when I left. I think she was tired of being in there and was just resting outside of it. And with Handyman with us, I'm not sure there was anyone there to put her back in.
Oh, well, Handyman has gone back to the ship with the girls.
Well, I will need to have a discussion with him as well. It sounds like Hodge will need to be in a medically induced coma while I treat her, otherwise we will all be in danger.
She looks a little alarmed. You think that Hodge will be a danger to herself and others just simply based on a couple of words you had to her?
The programming that the Crusade did, it's more than what was done to the clones in our timeline. It almost has an intelligence of its own. And of course, being a parasitic type of organism, something that lives off the host, anything Hodge knows, it knows. If it knows we are aware of it and trying to get rid of it, well, it will defend itself. Thalen said that she and her party were nearly killed by Rose when they tried to heal her.
She looks she looks disturbed, but then she takes a deep breath. Well, then wouldn't that also be true for Astra? Don't they have the same programming?
Thalen clarified that she suspects something was done to Astra. She doesn't know with certainty. None of us do. What she is certain that Hodge, being a creation of the Crusade, has some degree of programming, which lines up with what Handyman discovered when he did her medical analysis.
Out of character, was Tessara present for that medical analysis? I can't remember.
That was after they got back from the storm.
Okay, back in character. Medical analysis? She's shaking her head, looking confused.
Yes, when we returned to the Gungnir from being rescued from the storm, out of necessity, Handyman did a complete medical analysis and discovered that she is, well, you remember the Shadow Stalkers that I faced on Lannis, the one in particular. A machine integrated with biology and programmed to kill Jedi.
Yes, I do recall you telling me about those. You're not saying that that's what Hodge is.
No, she is version 2.0. She is completely
Lost you, Durro.
Completely what?
where did I get cut off?
All I heard was she completely and then nothing after that.
She is completely biological, faster, stronger, able to heal better than your average person, but built for one purpose: to keep up with and kill Jedi. She is just like the Shadow Stalkers, but a biological version, not one integrated with technology.
She's just kind of staring at you. You think that this trip into the desert and her subsequent damage may have awoken this in her?
Durro looks slightly ashamed and says, No, no, not the storm. I awoke it in her by making her aware that I knew that it was there. It knew it had to defend itself.
She frowns even more. How do you know this? Did you see her do something or say something?
Okay, out of character. I saw the text chat by the fire, but Tesara was in the hut, and Traveler made it clear in that session that Tesara heard everything too. I think Tesara even reacted to some of it. So,
I concur.
anyway, so yeah, in character, there's a remember the call I got from Astra when we were in Niziel's hut.
Oh, right. Sorry, a lot has happened. Not really, but true. Um, all right. Well, are you going back to the Gungnir?
I was hoping to be privy to the meeting of the elders to help try to negotiate an agreement that if this village loses, their village would not be sacked or massacred, but I'm beginning to feel that my place is back aboard and fixing my mistakes. I don't suppose you know what's going on with the elders and this confrontation.
Well, I've certainly learned a lot more that I didn't understand, and I don't think a sacking or a raiding of this village is quite exactly what we think it's going to be.
Oh,
She. What?
he just said, "Oh, do enlighten me."
She she crosses her arms over herself like she's kind of holding herself together. It's from what I can understand from what Nazil and Jaren told me. It's very ritualistic. There's parties and feasts and discussions and agreements. And basically, in the most crudest of terms, it comes down to a gamble. And if the Val folk, they'll decide what they want to gamble, being it people, products, produce, items, whatever. And the Nirani will do the same. They will make a bet saying, if we lose, you will get these things, these products, these people for slaves. So if the Valfolk win, the child of the Narani will die, the baby. And the Valfolk will claim whatever gamble was produced by the Narani on the table, they will take it. But nothing more than that. In other words, if the Narani win, this baby from the Valfolk will die, but they will only take what was agreed upon to take. So, this fear of them raiding and sacking the village is not truly what will happen. Will they take people? Will they take items and anything that was agreed upon in these discussions? Yes. But they won't take any more that I'm aware of anyway. I'm to understand that these people are very honorable in their discussions, so I cannot imagine that they would do more. However, either way, a child dies and people are traded as well as goods and services. Well, maybe not services. So the other issue is that the Nirani believe because you went with them that you will fight with them. And after some back and forth with Nazil and Jaren, several back and forths, it's undeterminate whether or not the Valfolk will ask Fei Lin to step in because I believe the Narani think that if they ask her, if the Valfolk ask her to step in, it creates an imbalance of fairness, if you will, because her power is known far and wide, and that pretty much with a flick of her wrist, she could destroy the entire Narani that have come. And it's not truly a fair fight. So I'm sure that the village elders are discussing now whether or not that is an option they will ask. But Fei Lin herself, pretty sure that she won't do anything unless asked. Her son, however, does not feel the same. He is in love with Nazil and passionate for a fight to defend the people that he loves and cares about, Nazil. So he is very gung ho and was pushing me to take a side. Obviously, I don't want to take a side. That is not what I want to do. But he did say something to me that disturbed me and gave me pause. And she stops talking for a minute and she adjusts the hat that she was wearing just because it's a break. So these people, Durro, the Narani and the Valfolk, apparently they consider us gods. That we, when you and Haj went out into the desert and didn't die, you survived. It only proved to them that you were immortal and a god. And therefore, the gods can do as they wish. And although Jaren was pushing in his own way, as a very passionate young man, to side with the Valfolk, he did say something to me when we parted ways that made me realize I don't have to choose a side. And in fact, if I just stand, if I just stand and say nothing and do nothing, that might be enough to just witness what is happening, to know that at a moment, if I chose to do so, I could take a side or I could do an action, do some kind of action or even speak. So I thought you should know you are expected by the Narani to fight with them. But Durro, as Jaren just said, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But I will tell you, trying to go and negotiate with these elders for anything, it's not going to work. It's it's just not. And I agree that you and Hodge love each other, Durro, and she needs you right now. Do you trust me to stay behind while you return to her side?
Of course I do. If I trusted anyone to observe such an event and not make a mess of it, it'd be you. You've learned well from both me and from your people, and I believe that you will follow your teachings and the guidance of the Force and do what is right, whatever that may be.
She inhales and exhales like long, like a sense of relief. Then go. I don't know if our communicators will work with the sand and the storm. I don't know. But you could try to contact Handyman to see if he can return the speeder to you so that you could go back. And I think
How
the
did you?
girls will be happy to see you as well.
Did you not take the girls back to the Gungnir yourself?
No, I sent Handyman with the girls back to the Gungnir. I wanted to stay here and I trusted him to get them home safely.
Ah, I see. Well, I will contact him and see if he can bring the speeder back and take me back where I guess I am supposed to be right now. I was torn between the elders and returning to the ship, but it sounds like the elders' issue is taking care of itself.
It is, and I believe that's also where the Force wants you to go, Duro. You are concerned about her, as apparently you have a right to be and concerned. And if anybody needs you right now, it's her. And Astra as well.
Yes. My initial intention was to find out if Astra had anything wrong with her first, take care of the easier one so I had an idea what I would be up against before facing the harder one. Have some experience under my belt, so to speak.
Are you
But
talking?
I'm talking about getting rid of any programming, yes.
She looks a little astonished. I thought that took years to learn how to do.
The technique, or one of the techniques that Master Durant, or out of character, what was the last name again?
Ross.
Duras. I keep thinking it's Durand, and I know that's wrong. I'm close though. Anyway, back in character. The one of the techniques that Master Duras suggested, she says will take years to master, but I don't have years. I barely have hours. Unless we want to all be watching our backs constantly to make sure that we are not stabbed or shot in our sleep or poisoned by breakfast.
She makes a bit of a face. Uh, but Master Phelan said that it was very dangerous and that it nearly killed her. You have to have a backup plan.
I am the only one on this ship strong enough to try to cure her. If I fail and am still alive, then the backup plan is to kill her first. Because the programming cannot live without her. And if she turns into a weapon of the Crusade, it's either her or us. And I will kill her if I must to protect you and Astra and Professor Kenobi and any shot we have against defeating Melora. If I fail and don't survive the encounter, that plan B falls to you, and potentially to Astra.
She's standing stock still, and he sees a tear roll out the corner of her eye and down her cheek.
I don't like it either, but with the limited time and resources we have, that's really the only backup plan I can think of.
Then you need to tell Astra what you expect of her and prepare
No,
her.
no. If she is programmed, I cannot let her know what I know. I cannot let her know that I am planning on dealing with this.
Then you
If
have
she,
to tell someone. Tell the professor. Tell Handyman.
I did tell someone, I told you. And once Hodge is under, then I will tell Handyman as well. But this is the way it must be. Unless you can think of something else that will help.
She frowns for a minute and then wipes the tear off of her face. Can you do this while she's unconscious?
That's the safest way to do it.
And if you fail, she'd still be unconscious.
Yes, but I may be compromised, if still alive at all. There's a lot of damage you can do in someone's mind. Not all damage is physical. Master Duras recommended freezing in carbonite until I had mastered the abilities that I will need to do this more safely, but again, we don't have the resources to freeze anyone in carbonite.
She shudders a little bit at the idea. She closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. You trust me to handle things here. I trust you to handle things there. But, Durro, you have to you have to trust in the Force as well. You have to trust in not just what you've been told, but what you feel. You you know how to read someone, programming or no, and that includes Astra. If you're going to do this with with Haj, how are you going to keep Astra away while you do it?
I've thought of that. I'm not 100% sure. My first thought was to send her on some pointless exercise away from the Gungnir for a few hours, but another option would be confining to quarters, or simply sealing ourselves in the medbay, not telling her anything, and just leaving her to her devices while Handyman and I perform whatever we need to do. I'm not sure, but I trust the Force and my own abilities to come up with something adequate once I assess the situation.
She looks super unhappy at this, but she just nods and says, I I don't want to return to that ship and find anyone dead.
Well, I will certainly do my best to make sure that doesn't happen. And I do trust in the Force and in what I know, not just what I've been told, but what I know in my heart to be true. This place and the fact that we were brought here under these circumstances tells me that despite the odds stacked against us, we will be successful. And in this particular endeavor, I will succeed, or I will die trying.
She doesn't really give him any warning. She just steps forward and grabs him into a very big hug and says, Please, please be safe. Both you and Astra and Haj. You're my family. I need you to all make it through this. And then she releases him.
He would have returned the hug, and again he would remind her, I will certainly do my best. But like you told me, trust in the Force, and that whatever needs to happen will happen.
She nods.
Now, like you, I would like to observe these events, but I can't guarantee I will be back in time for this, so I trust you to keep an eye on things and to ensure nothing goes too far.
Well, it's possible this could continue on for days for all we know. There could be another storm that pops up in the middle of all of their negotiations and gambling and discussions about who gets to die first. She looks a little bitter.
Well, if things continue what we would call 2 more days, then yes, there will be another storm.
Do me a favor, Durro. Don't send Astra here. I believe there may still be a chance that she would be in danger if anyone was to find out that the storm rider got caught within her hair the last storm.
Now, be honest, is that something you feel, a potential a potential whisper of danger in the Force, or is that you letting your fear rule your judgment?
She looks thoughtful. Astra's very strong willed. To not be concerned about her well being would be stupid. To over worry about her well being is to feed fear. I'm still trying to strike a balance. Hello?
Durro would nod and glance back toward the Gungnir and say, I should contact Handyman and make preparations to return. May the Force be with you.
And you as well, Master Theltanus.
He will smile at her and then turn to step away to make his comm call.
And she steps back as well and looks around.
That seems like a good place to pause.
Give me a spot check, Tesara.
14 plus whatever bonuses I get.
You see Kenobi and Phelan moving through the crowd. They both have goblets of whatever the hell these people are drinking.
Tesara heads towards them.
Okay. Professor, you see Tesara walking towards you. And just to give you an idea of what you're drinking, it's some type of fermented fruit. It's clearly alcoholic. It's got a sweet flavor to it with a kind of a almost pleasant aftertaste that rests in your mouth and like coats the inside of your mouth, and it really does enjoy, the textures.
Cool. Sweet.
Tesara actually just falls into step behind them.
Professor, you know she's there.
Hey,
Professor?
how's it going?
Hey, Lynn. I'm sorry, Tesara.
What are your observations, Professor?
How you doing? Observations. War is going to happen any way that it possibly can. And this is an interesting war to watch. Probably one of the most peaceful ones I've ever seen.
Yes, I agree. Sort of fascinating.
A group of Narani warriors come up to you guys, and they have this uh, kind of a bundle that's wrapped fairly tightly with some type of leaf going all the way around it. One side is lit, and they offer you the other side.
Which one of us is it being offered to?
Kenobi first.
I'll take it. One sec, I got a phone call. Hello? I'm looking forward to. Oh.
Duro, while we're waiting for the professor to come back, what are you doing?
Calling Handyman?
Okay.
Sounds like the professor had to go.
Yes, Master Thaltanus.
Handyman, would you be able to bring the speeder back and allow me to return to Gungnir? I'd
Oh,
hate to have to walk the entire way.
of course. We are turning around right now, and we'll be heading back your way.
Oh, you weren't back at the Gungnir yet?
No. We were sightseeing.
Ah, anything interesting? Well, save it for when you arrive. I'll ask the others.
Of course. We're on our way back. Give us about 20-25 minutes.
Very good. And Durro will end the call.
Okay. Professor, are you back?
Yeah.
Oh. Doesn't sound like it. So, breathing deeply breathing deeply into this concoction gives Professor Kenobi a sense of euphoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind? Like color?
More like some of the best cannabis he's had in a long time. Not that artificial shit either.
I like that. That's some good shit.
Phelan will join with you and then offer it to Tesara.
Is it just the one?
Yeah, it's just the one. They're
And it's
passing.
been
They're
and it's
passing it
been
around.
passed around.
Yes.
So she'll take it and inhale. And as she's seen other people do, it'll make her cough a little bit, but she hands it over.
The Narati warrior looks to Phelan and says something to her, then smiles and motions to you, Tesara, and then they laugh and went ahead and they join you guys in passing of the thing.
Tesara would have been able to understand what they said, though, right?
That's correct. She would have. I was gonna have Phelan translate anyway, but that's okay. So here's what Phelan translate and what Tesara understood. They mocked the desert witch, saying that they travel with their own god and he will smite her. And she just smiles and laughs it off as she takes another puff. And then they motion to Tesara, saying that if you choose to side with them, that like their god that like the one that traveled with them, she too will be worshipped among the Narani.
Okay, out of character, I need clarification on something.
Yes, because I know I chopped that up.
Yeah. So they're basically insinuating that if Tesara joins them, she will be seen as a god the same as Durro. Is that what you're saying?
No, they will worship her the same way they are, praising Durro. You can looking around as you see Durro walking through the crowd and talking on his comlink, you can literally see them, kind of paying homage to their deity, the one who joined them on the crusade.
And Phelan translates all that.
Well, she does. Though her method of translation to the professor carries with it a little sarcasm, as if, she's worried about a face-off between her and Thaltanis.
Who is worried about a face-off?
Phelan she was being sarcastic. She said, "Oh, I'm so worried about a face-off between myself and Thaltanis."
I know, he's really good at...
Eh?
And he's just smiling.
Oh, we're all very good at that. She grins.
Is the second round coming to you, Tesara?
She focuses real hard, takes as small an inhalation as possible, and does not cough when she exhales.
Good. for you. Phelan will ask the two warriors that have come up if they have made themselves. She'll ask them in their native language, have you made yourselves right with your ancestors?
Oh, I'm fine with my ancestors.
As am I. And the warriors will, nod their heads in agreement as, Phelan takes her third puff. And then she passes it kindly over to Tesara.
Wait, didn't the professor get his turn?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I just assumed he would.
Oh, it's if I don't say, I hope I don't have to say puff puff pass, puff puff pass.
Well, no, I wanted to clarify that everybody is getting their own, and it's not just like it goes to her and then back to Tesara and then to him and then back to Tesara and then to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted to verify it's
Oh
being
no,
passed
Tasara's
around in
getting hit
circles,
from all
right?
sides. We're all passing to Tesara.
Okay. Are the Nirani also being passed this thing around, or do they have their own?
No, they're taking it with you guys, and in fact, they're sharing their cups with you guys if you want to drink this alcoholic beverage that the Val have created.
So Tesara looks over at Phelan and asks in basic, to do this, does it consider us having sided with them?
No, this is neutral time.
Yeah, it's revelry. It's merriment. This is the time in which we're celebrating life before death happens tomorrow.
Only those who fear death would not celebrate the coming battle.
Really?
Yes, it's part of their traditions. One of the first lessons that my son and I learned with these people.
So she does the same thing. She takes another hit, but she's very careful to continue to pull energetically. Like, I don't know what the skill would be, but it's almost like grounding yourself. Like, if you know how to not allow something to go to your head, do you know? Like, it's almost like if you're drunk grabbing onto a something solid just to keep yourself upright. She's trying to do the energetic equivalent of that so that whatever this is that she's smoking, because she can feel it, doesn't get her stupid.
Okay. Then go ahead and roll a con check. I'll give you a +2.
So I rolled a 10, so 12.
Yep. Okay, you're doing okay for now.
She passes it to the next person.
Mm-hmm. The warriors ask what it's like to live amongst the gods. What would it be like for them to live amongst the gods? And Phelan will translate it accurately to Professor Kenobi.
Okay. He'll listen and then translate it into a different language and speak it back to her.
Which language are you speaking it back to her?
Let's say I'm gonna use pre-lock.
You're surprised. She does understand it. Not quite as good as you, but she does understand it.
Sick.
We did spend considerable time there studying their ancient ruins.
I didn't spend a lot of time there. I wanted to. I got enjoyed the local artistry.
You'll be
But
surprised.
no, I had to run away because there was a horny girl who really needed to cling to a big, thick spire.
Yeah, we kind of had a similar situation. Unfortunately, she wasn't horny, just greedy as fuck. She takes another drag and passes it over to Sarah. I tell you, sometimes I just want to punch my sister right in the face because she's just so goddamn greedy.
Yeah.
Tessara takes the joint, smokes one last, hands it to the next person, and says, "Thank you for players having the dumb. Hold on.
Players have
Thank you for sharing this with me." And then she steps back one step.
Well, hold on. After you take your next hit, go ahead and roll a con. You still get the same +2.
12, so 14.
Okay, all right. Then you take a step back. Are you like leaving the conversation? Or you're just gonna hover there at the
Yes.
periphery.
No, she's leaving.
Okay. So I'm gonna pause everybody there, and I'm going to jump over to the Gungir.
Oh, joy.
Astra, you have your mission.
Mission? What mission?
Go get a blaster.
Where is the armory in relation to the observation deck?
Good question. Go to the Gungir. Yeah. So the observation deck must be the bridge. Place it. Do that. So it's down the hall. It'll be down the hall on the left side.
Okay. Astra is going to very quietly go to the armory.
Okay. So you
I
go
believe
you're move up. Where are you starting from? That's kind of
her
real.
quarters.
Starting from her quarters.
Yep.
Okay, so you leave your quarters and you go ahead and turn to walk down the hallway. You see the cross hallway for the elevators, and you move to the armory, and it's locked as usual because no one's stupid. They don't keep the armory unlocked. You gotta type in your code.
Out of character, what is Astra's code?
Whatever code you were assigned when the professor gave you guys free run of the ship. Again, no one's stupid. If you want to take a weapon out, you have to log yourself in.
Okay, well, she's gonna enter whatever that code is. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure the character knows. The
You
player doesn't.
you enter the code, and door cracks open and hisses open, and walk in, and it hisses closed behind you. There's all kinds of weapons in it. Slug throwers,
She
blasters, grenades.
She wants a blaster, and she's gonna set it to safety, and then she's gonna leave
Okay, hold on. So
and go.
what kind all right, so does Astra know what kind of blaster she wants? Just curious. This is really important because you have your selection of holdout, heavy blaster, blaster rifles. There's a wide range, and what you decide may have an impact in the future.
She wants something small that can be concealed.
So a holdout.
Yeah.
Remember, holdouts don't have a whole lot of power, though.
Well, yeah, but if Hadaza sees her with a freaking blaster.
But you are wearing robes.
Good point. Then she's probably gonna go for a slightly larger blaster, but not something crazy.
Okay. Well, there's all kinds of different blasters to pick from. You want a regular blaster pistol or you want a heavy blaster pistol? So, just so you understand, like Han Solo's blaster pistol was a heavy blaster pistol.
Yeah, but does that have a stun function on it?
It sure does.
Then she's gonna go with that.
Okay. You're gonna grab yourself an energy pack as well to make sure it's nice and fully loaded.
And she's gonna make sure that it is set to stun and that it actually has a stun setting.
It does. Not lie to you about this. Well, I would, but I'm not.
Then she'll conceal it in her robes and head back to her room quietly.
Okay, stand by. So, Adaza, you're sitting on the bridge or the observation deck of the Gungir. Please tell me what you're doing up there.
She's singing. She's put music on and she is singing.
Okay.
She is actually paying attention to the lyrics and trying to learn this piece of music.
Okay. So while she's singing, something interrupts her because she's paying attention to the music and she really wants to get this shit right. You hear this beep, 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 beep.
That's obnoxious. All right. So she looks down and is like, what the actual fuck?
Well,
What's going off?
It takes her a few minutes, but she finally makes her way over to a console, which, she manages to identify the obnoxious flashing red light and the buzzer, which you can silence, and it's letting you know somebody entered the armory. Again, because the professor's not stupid, he'd want to make sure that somebody doesn't enter the armory without, at least people knowing that somebody's in the armory. Because if somebody who happens to not supposed to be on the ship gets into the armory, you want to know.
There's only one other person on board. And if it's not Astra, that's a problem. And if it's Astra, that's a problem.
Doing.
She will get up from the. No, she's up. It's time to go investigate the armory.
Okay. So you.
She's not stupid though. Is the cargo bay between her and the armory?
Nope. It's below.
Below?
Yep. And you have to pass the armory to get to the elevators.
She is in no condition to fight, and she's unarmed. Can she move to a place where she can see the armory without being seen?
Yes, there is a hallway right when you exit the bridge. You
Hmm?
can take a right. Hang on a second. I know what I'm.
Yes, please.
Ba, ba, ba. So you can exit the bridge, take a right,
Okay.
and stop right there where it turns, and that CRY is the converted armory.
Okay. Okay, so this hallway just exiting the bridge, that would be that small hallway between where it says ESC and CRY. Better still, on the opposite side between the was that CRU and CRW? Lab. Across from CRY is lab, and CR something blurry
Yeah,
that looks like
CRU.
CRU.
Okay.
And CRW. From that hallway, you can see the object door. I mean, you can see the armory door better.
Yeah.
She's gonna duck in there and look to see who comes out.
Okay. So you're gonna hide at that intersection.
Yep.
Okay. So, Astra, give me a edit.
Give you sleight of hand. I don't even think I have that.
That is.
Oh, it is.
It's
Yeah, it
like
is.
a sleight of hand skill. Roll, please. This is going to tell
Want
us
me to?
how well you
7.
have. How much?
7.
7. Okay.
You want me to
Hadassah.
give you a hide?
No. Yes. Give me a hide check, please.
22.
Okay. Okay. Now both of you roll spot.
I got a 9.
I got a
Okay.
21.
So, Astra, you are oblivious to the presence uh of Hadassah as you walk out. Um, the and Hadassah, she's walking out, and underneath her robes is a blaster.
Okay. Where it's, I will follow her, but stay hidden.
Astra, you said you're going back to your quarters, right?
Yep, she's gonna go back to her quarters and lock the door behind her.
Okay, so you see her heading down the corridor, and
Hmm.
she turns and heads into uh and turns into her quarters and locks the door.
I can hear the door lock.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Now give me a move silently check, and Astra, give me a listen check.
Oh,
I got a 6.
I got a 9.
Astra, you can't hear her.
Okay.
That said, Durro and Hadassah practice in the cargo bay with the stun batons, and they leave them there when they're sparring. So she's going to go grab one of the stun batons.
Okay. So you head for the elevator, flip
Hmm?
into the lift, and head down. Astra, roll listen.
There it goes. I got a 3.
Okay. You're at the cargo bay.
She's gonna grab one of the stun batons.
Yep.
Make sure it's on. She's gonna take the lift back up.
Okay.
She's going to sit outside of Astra's door.
Okay. Astra, give me a listen check.
$13.
Here's somebody moving outside your.
Okay. Can she tell if they're trying to get into the room?
No, you don't hear anything touching the door. You hear movement outside your door.
Okay. She's gonna sit on the bed and wait for Duro's return.
Okay. Coming. Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay. So we're sitting there. It's been about an hour.
Haj has nothing to say to her. She's sitting with her back on the door. No, I take that back. She's sitting to the side of the door. It's right outside, but she's sitting facing the hallway. The stun baton is in her right hand, and she's sitting to the left side of the door so that if Astra comes out with a blaster, she can swing the arm hard and hit her low.
Okay. Just to let you know, if you see that hallway between the two elevators, that's the hallway where this is happening. The center square, that is Astra's room.
Okay. Wait a minute. There's the two elevators. There's the hallway. That center square is okay.
Yep,
That's fine.
right across from the lab.
Okay.
There's a storage locker across the hall from her.
Yep. She's sitting on the left-hand side of the door
So
on the wall.
both of you give me a charisma. No, it'd be willpower. Both of you give me a willpower check. No bonuses. Whatever your willpower is.
27.
No bonuses?
Whatever your willpower is.
29.
Two hours have passed.
Nope. She can't sit still that long.
What are you gonna do?
She's going to pace the hallway between the elevators.
Astra,
Yep.
there's no doubt you hear her outside the hallway. Stomping down, pacing.
Who said stomping?
You didn't say moving silently, you said pacing.
Fair enough. When have you ever known her to stomp anywhere?
Everywhere.
She doesn't stomp.
After 2 hours of this Mexican standoff? Sure about that?
She doesn't stomp. She never stomps.
Astra's gonna try and contact Duro using the telepathy.
Okay. Establish it.
Damn.
Roll telepathy. Roll your telepathy.
Okay. 13.
Okay. You have a comlink. Comlink.
Yep, I guess she will try contacting him using her comlink.
Send him a message.
Then she will send him a message.
Okay. Do me a favor. While this will be voice, type out exactly what.
Type out what she's
What she's gonna
sending
say.
him.
It'll be over voice, but type out what you say. Trust me, the reason why I'm saying this.
Oh my gosh, what the heck?
Brilliant. Okay. So
Do I need to read that?
no. So Duro,
Okay.
Hello there.
hello there. So you've just got off the comlink with handyman, and a group of locals come up. You know that they're Narani, and one of them throws some type of like woven reef around your neck. They seem very excited, and and they're celebrating, patting you on the back and saying things you don't understand what they're saying, but they're clearly happy with you. When you get this sharp pain in your temple, as if somebody like stabbed you with an ice pick in your brain. It hurts like a very strong, sharp pain. And before you have a chance to like really like overcome this, your comlink goes off as if you're receiving a message, and you flip it on and it chirps at you really high pitched.
Well, I'm sure that is not helping the headache.
No.
That is all. It just chirps.
That's it. It just chirps. Doesn't do anything else. It just chirps. I mean, it doesn't even register what that was. Like almost like a malfunction. Give me an intelligence check.
Okay. 20 pre-bonuses.
Okay. So you do remember Phelan saying something about this place having a adverse effect on technology. Might be what she's talking about.
That can't be right because I just got off the comm link with Handyman.
Right.
What the pain? Did it feel like anything force related, or is it just like heat stroke from being out in the sun too long?
Explain to me the difference between a force related pain and a non force related pain.
Clearly, you have never felt the whispers of the force before,
He's a muggle. Bear with him.
right? The kind of feeling you get when the force is trying to warn you of something. Yes, it can manifest as physical pain, but especially if you are trained, you know where it's coming from. You feel that it's more than just a physical pain. You feel it in your spirit or in your person.
Well, this definitely does not feel like a force induced warning slash pain based off of what you've just told me. It does not feel like that.
It's just a weird stabby pain in the head.
Yeah. And to be truthful, Duro's never felt this before.
Well, he will still use his Jedi training to center himself and to acknowledge but work around the pain.
Okay. You can easily work around it and overcome it.
Okay, so glancing around to see if Tesara is still nearby.
She is definitely not nearby. In fact, you see Tesara enjoying a rather large, local smoking thing. She looks like right about at this moment as you're turning around, you can kind of see her like starting to bow out, and the professor and Valen are giggling. It's a disturbing sight.
Yeah, no kidding. Durr will probably inadvertently make a face, but he will see if he can get Tesara's attention. Just
Wow, what a sourpuss.
Right?
subtle gestures. He's not like doing jumping jacks or anything, but kind of see if he can get her attention.
You wave towards her, and as you're waving, it's you're like trying to overcome it and everything, and you finally like wave to Tesara as you see her backing away from the group. Tesara, give me a spot check, please.
Of course. After I've shut down my computer, can somebody else access my character sheet and roll for me? Can somebody do that? I'm not in front of my computer anymore.
He says somebody, knowing damn well I'm the only one that can do it. Fine.
Thanks.
Only because I
I'm
like you.
Yeah, there's other reasons I'm not in front of my computer anymore.
Her spot check is 23. So you see Duro waving at you.
She is surprised to see him and starts making her way towards him. Is there a lot of people between the two of them?
Yeah, there's like a celebration going on. But don't worry. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You can easily navigate the people.
Okay, so she makes her way over to him. Can you not reach Handyman?
No, I was able to reach him. I also received a weird, and he would kind of like tap the comm against his palm, a weird call. At least it seemed like it was a call, but it was just a signal. It didn't seem like jamming or anything I've ever heard before.
And it does it
And
again.
there, see? But I literally just got off with Handyman, so I'm not sure why it would be malfunctioning now when it wasn't a moment ago.
That explains why I have to clean up after Handyman lately.
I just knew as soon as I said it, I was like, poor choice of words. Someone's gonna jump on it.
So Tesara takes out her own comlink and tries pinging his.
It goes through, and you guys hear the echo of your two commonlies talking to each other.
So Handyman's on his way to come get you, right? Did he say how far away you were? Because that does not give me a good feeling.
20 to 25 minutes, and considering that the only people not here are Haj and Astra, then it must be one of them trying to contact me, which means there must be something wrong with the Gungnir's communication system.
She frowns. I think you should head to the edge of the village to meet Handyman there, because that's not good. Now, out of character, does she sense, like, he's had this stabby pain once? I'm assuming it didn't repeat itself. Does he look at all like he's in pain?
That'll be up for the player to decide.
I would say to most people, no, but Tesara's known him for ages, so she can probably tell that he is not exactly comfortable, but is doing his damnedest to Jedi through it.
Okay, then another out of character question. Was this a one-time stabby pain? Or a
Yes.
okay, so it's like come and gone already. Just leaving echoes. Is that right, Duro?
That was the impression I got. I thought you were asking the storyteller.
Okay, sorry. My bad. So she kind of narrows her eyes at him. What's wrong?
Nothing at the moment. About the same time I got that first chirpy call, I also had a stabbing sensation in my head, like a headache, but more intense, not like nothing I've ever felt before. It doesn't seem to be any kind of force warning. I don't feel that whisper in the force that accompanies such things.
Well, do you have the ability to communicate with Astra through the Force the same way that you do with me?
Well, yes, that's how I was able to help her before, to communicate with her 5 friends.
Then try now.
Good call. Although also the reason I gestured you over was, and he would kind of subtly gesture to the people around him, and the I guess necklaces or whatever they were putting around his neck. I forget what you said. I'd say they seem to be hailing me as, well, based on what you said, some kind of god, but they were very talkative, and I don't understand a word they're saying.
Oh yes, there's lots of smack talk going on. Joking around that they're going to kick each other's butts and you're going to help them, and that witch better watch out because you are more powerful than she is. All that kind of crap.
Somebody should probably tell the negotiating elders that I don't plan to involve myself, because if they think that I am going to fight alongside the newcomers and ask Thaylin to basically cancel me out, then she will end up fighting, and I won't be there to balance that out.
And that's not our problem, Duro. If they make assumptions based on something that they believe and no one ever says anything to us about it, there's nothing to be done. This is such a hands off. I can't even explain. Like when Jaren said to me, "You don't have to do anything. You're a god to these people. You might as well be a god, and gods aren't made to do anything." It made me realize we don't. It doesn't matter what they tell each other. It doesn't matter what the elders think. It doesn't matter. You have to do what you think is right. And right now, I think you should focus on that and not here. And hope that handyman arrives quickly, but do try and contact Astra and I'll take care of business here.
Yes, but please bear in mind, if this village loses because, or if either side is negatively affected because one or both of them assumed I would be fighting, and the other took countermeasures, that smacks of involvement on my part. I did nothing but ride with the incoming newcomers, but apparently that was enough. that's already involvement. I feel that it needs to be clear that that does not mean I am fighting with them. That way, everybody goes into these negotiations and gambles with a clear picture of what they're up against.
She only shrugs. You won't even be here. Trust me, Durro. I will handle it. I
I
trust you to
am.
handle what's happening at the Gungnir, and you trust me to handle what's happening here. We're not alone. Phelan and the professor are here as well. She speaks this language. She'll handle it.
All right. I will trust your judgment. And he will quiet his mind and try to reach out for Astra.
Stand by a second. So, Duro, you're in your conversation and you're like, okay, and you go to turn to reach out and contact Astra, and that pain comes back, but this time it comes back far worse than before. I need you to roll a fortitude check, please.
He would say that when I am about to go and bring in some plants from outside. All right, hang on. Give me a second to.
You know, like I said, I'm just watching you guys.
The mouse is watching.
As long as he doesn't roll a 1, we're kind of okay.
You said fortitude?
Yep, fortitude. Just don't roll a 1.
Nat 20.
Nice. Okay, so you push through it very well, but you do take 2 points of wound damage. It hurts like fucking hell, dude.
Well, then he would visibly wince. But, unless anyone is paying super close attention to him, they're not going to realize anything's going on.
Fair enough.
Well, isn't Tesara standing right in front of him?
Except for Tesara.
Well, yes, but I also knew the
Okay.
player was listening, so yeah, that's her hint, her cue.
So she reaches out and she touches his shoulder. What happened?
That pain, but even worse than the first time I felt it.
All right, I'm gonna pause you two. Astra, you're sitting in your quarters, and you hear her stomping off. Well, not stomping, but you hear her. Actually, I'm sorry. Give me a listen check.
1 second. Listen. There it goes. 17.
Okay, so you hear her moving. Yeah, you hear her moving off, and hear hatch kind of echo and open. Me an intelligence.
17.
Could have been the armory.
Astra will remain where she is.
There are breaching weapons in the armory. Well, there's all kinds of weapons in the armory. Your door's not going to hold up against a full frontal assault. and you will be trapped.
That was an almost halfway decent Sidious impression.
Thank you.
You will be.
Is there some kind of ventilation system on the Gungnir?
There is, but you're vastly
Is
too
she-
small for it.
Yeah, I'm vastly too small for it. That means she can go
So-
through it. Thank you.
You'd be vastly too big for it.
Damn.
Shouldn't
Well,
have eaten so many cupcakes.
Astra didn't eat a whole lot of cupcakes. You got the wrong character there.
Doing.
I'm gonna pull the party because I don't know what to do.
You
I
know
think
that
you should.
Danny DeVito meme? So anyway, I started blasting.
I think
Remember,
you should.
drinking is not only the answer, it's also the solution.
Pun intended, Professor.
Oh, she was asking for advice. I wasn't giving her immediate advice. Just when she reflects upon the situation after she kills somebody, she can drink about it.
Yep. I was making a pun joke with regards to the beverage being the solution.
Oh, yeah.
I think you should go and search for her.
I don't trust the voice that suggestion was given in.
Oh, you little face.
Is Phil still talking to her? Is he even there?
If you focus, he'll show himself. You believe my warning now.
I'm not sure what to do now.
That's because you've never been an aggressive individual.
Gee, you think?
Sit here and wait and die,
Mm. Yeah, I don't like that option.
or go to the bridge, seal the bridge, and remove the oxygen in the ship and passes out. Find her. Put her up in the Bacta tank. Whatever you do it quickly because if she's going to breach the door. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I'm not going to the bridge and training bay. It's wide open and there's plenty of space to move around and stay hidden.
Yes, sacrifice control of the bridge. Once she fails to find you, she can do exactly what we are to her.
Or I could just leave the ship.
Good. Then said you don't want to rush off and do something foolish. What do you want me to help you? She is a trained killer.
We don't know that she's gonna come to try and breach the door, though.
You go to the armory. Knows you're here. She outside your door for almost 3 hours.
I can pinpoint where she is, though, through the force.
And
I'm gonna try that first.
remember, experience. Those who have succumbed to their fear are the most dangerous. Roll sense.
It's sense. I thought it was C force.
Yeah, you can do that too.
If I could find the stupid ability. 18.
You can sense her. She's not far. And you can sense her
Wait.
fear.
So,
She's actively used the force recently, by the way. Can't tell what.
oh, fun. So,
Yes.
how do you know about the crusade?
You mean?
You died before you died, and the Jedi kept the crusade secret. So how do you know about it?
I don't understand what you mean. Don't know.
And
How did I know she's dangerous? Intending to kill you?
she's not a dark sider, is she?
Be a dark sider to have dark thoughts.
And how do you know this?
Sense it through the force.
How?
Reach out with your emotions. You feel from her. Sense that fear, don't you?
Yes, but fear doesn't mean she's going to act.
You're right. Fear doesn't mean she's going to act. She already has. She's cornered you in your room. As we speak, plotting to kill you. Why else would she stake out in front of your door for 3 hours?
That doesn't necessarily mean that she's trying to kill me.
Go have a talk with her then.
Not sure I want to try that.
See? Even you don't believe it.
If Hadaza is afraid and agitated, she could easily decide to act if I push the issue.
So, if you want to be safe with this, you have to kill her. The bridge. Remove the air from the oxygen or from the environment. Pass out peacefully. Put her in the Baka tank. and secure it so when Duro comes back, you are still alive. She is still alive. Tell me how this is a bad idea.
It means suffocating my friend.
It means putting her to sleep.
Wait,
You don't have to kill
she
her.
can't. She can't do anything to me. She's weak right now.
Then why are you hiding in your room? Hunt her down and shoot her with the blaster and then put her in the tank. A wounded
Wow.
animal is the most dangerous, Astra.
Only if I make an aggressive move. I've not done anything aggressive towards her.
Have you done anything towards her?
No.
Then why is she staking out your room?
I don't know.
Then go
The only way
talk
to
to her.
find that out is to talk to her.
Go talk to her. Tell her that she has nothing to be afraid of and that all of this was a big misunderstanding.
Um, Astral pinched the bridge of her nose and closed her eyes. And she'll leave her quarters to go find Hadassah.
Okay. So you are give me you kind of know kind of have a feeling about what where you know she's still on this level. You know that for a fact. Not like a radar, but you know she's close. And you hear boots slamming down on the deck as if, running. And, you know, you're reaching the junction just north of your room. The elevator is directly in front of you. You turn to your left and you see Hadassah charging or running around the corner towards you.
Can Astra dodge out of Hadassah's way?
But in doing so, could also lead back. Sure, that's what.
Crap.
She's also, she's also carrying a stun baton.
Okay. Wait, she only has a stun baton?
Melee weapon.
Astral put her hands up and say, Hadassah, stop.
Like, what do you mean, like, hands up? Because I want to make sure there's no misunderstanding here. Hands up like you surrender, or put your hands out.
Her hands are up to show that she does not have a weapon
Okay.
in them.
Hadassah, there you go.
She's got the baton. You can see that it's on. And she pulls up short with it back ready to lay in the lay in the smackdown. What were you doing in the armory, Astra?
Let's just say I let my fear get the better of me for a moment. I did get a blaster. It is on stun, and I will show it to you.
Drop it.
But drop it. Sure. And she'll take the blaster and drop it.
Lightsaber to Astra.
Yeah, no.
Then we have a problem.
Listen to me first. Look, my hands are
She
right
stands there
here.
silently.
My hands are right here. I'm not gonna touch my lightsaber.
Wait, hold on. I need to clarify. I need to make sure I understand something. Did Astra drop the blaster?
Yes, she did.
Reached in and pulled it out and dropped it. Blaster at Astra. Thank you.
Yep.
I wanted to clarify that.
She will hold her hands up in front of her so Hadassah can see them and can see that she is not going to do anything.
No, what she sees is your empty hands and your lightsaber still at your hip.
Play your character, Astra. Because if I hear at the end of this game, I would have done this, but I was afraid of that, I'm going to take a level away. Play your character.
Hold on. I need a moment to think.
Okay. And mind you, this has been about 3.5 hours since that first alarm in the armory.
Um, okay. Astra will take her lightsaber off her belt and slowly put it on the ground behind her feet.
And Hodge will power down the stun baton. Sorry. She'll stop. She'll power down the stun baton. She'll toss it away.
I'm
Are
sorry.
you really gonna kill me, Astra?
You can look at the blaster. It's on stun. I don't want to hurt you. I never wanted to hurt you, and I would never would.
But you were the
Even
one who
if
went for the
Stroll
arm.
was suggesting I go to the bridge and take the air out of the ship, which is insane, and no, I'm not going to do it. Ever.
But you went for the armory.
I did.
Why? Wait, did you say
Because,
soul? Wait.
yes, soul. Right, I've got some explaining to do if you want to hear the full story of what happened.
I think you can see her, like the adrenaline is now fading from her system, and her eyes flutter.
Hadassah.
She weaves a little.
Keep in mind, Hadassah, you are not under any effects of previous injury. It's been several days now.
They've been gone that long?
By your own timeline, it's been 2 days.
Oh, by the timeline, it's been 3 hours. Um, okay, that's good to know, thank you. So if she's that well prepared, then I walk that back. Because I did not know that she had healed that completely. Yeah, yeah, I think you have a lot of explaining to do.
After our last encounter, I decided, and I had finished my training, I decided to go back to my quarters and try talking to some of my friends. And there's more of them than just Shantae before you start. There's also Saba, who is super peaceful and great at this kind of thing. Just saying. Anyways, and I couldn't reach them. That's like they're gone. The only one there was Soul, who I haven't seen since Master Moores was killed. And he kept warning me of danger and that you were planning to kill me. And as I was talking to him, I kind of decided I would rather have a blaster that could stun you without hurting you than just my lightsaber, because if you and I do get into a fight and it happens and the only thing I've got is my lightsaber, I could seriously hurt you and I don't want to.
Or you could seriously not, and I could cause your lightsaber to go out when it hits my flesh. But we won't have that conversation. And Astra, the only one who thinks that I'm going to kill you is you. So whatever you got going on in your head,
That's why I said I let my fear get the better of me. And I am sorry.
if you stop telling yourself that story and stop telling it to other people, maybe you'll stop believing it.
Stop believing what?
Give me a pause, please. Waiting for a dice roll.
17. Astral turn her head sideways and look at Hadaza.
More conversations with Soul, Astra?
Say again?
More conversations with Soul? Or is it the Helvete whispering in your ear to kill me this time?
No one told me to kill you. And I wouldn't do it.
And you didn't answer my question.
Which was?
More conversations with Soul?
No. I get the feeling that I'm not the only one that's worried that you will try to kill me.
I see. I told you. That you should have put me in the Bacta tank.
Do you want to go into the Bacta tank? I mean, we can try it.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'll be in my quarters. And she turns and walks away, leaving the stun baton there on the floor, turning her back on Astra, and walks into her room and shuts the door and locks it.
Okay. We will. Sorry, I think I stepped on that.
Yeah. Astra's gonna retrieve her lightsaber. And she'll leave the blaster there, but she's gonna retrieve her lightsaber and return to her room and close and lock the door.
Okay.
I have a question before the scene ends. This is an observational question from a player. Can Astra see Saul?
Yes, when she focuses on him.
If she can see him right now, what is his expression?
That's not an observational question because Sarah can't.
I'm asking as the player, not as the character.
Right.
That's a good question. If Astra focuses in on Soul, what is his expression? What is he doing?
He's relieved.
Okay, that was the only question I had. No, I didn't mean to
Yep.
interrupt the scene, but that was important.
Okay. Are we good?
Yep.
All right. Cool beans. Any questions outside of that one?
Not a question so much as really fucking proud of Astra right now. Holy shit.
I'm not.
Oh, you were just
Why
deprived of
I'm
chaos.
not?
incredibly disappointed you didn't pull the trigger.
You guys are just disappointed you didn't get chaos. I'm proud of Astra because her character, in my personal opinion, just took a giant leap forward in her character development.
Did she
Nah,
though?
10 steps back.
Was it a leap forward to Sarah?
I think it was, yes. You know why?
Why?
Because she instead of acting out of fear, she used her brain to think and make a decision instead
Okay.
of just jumping forward based on fear, which is exactly what happened with Master Morse. She saw, she was afraid, she acted.
Okay.
This time she was afraid and she stopped and she thought about it. She considered her options and she stepped and did something extremely brave. She could have gotten herself killed,
She could have. She
but
absolutely
she
could have.
she didn't.
This
This is my opinion.
but the problem is unlike Master Moore, all the scenes leading up to this moment stood as confirmation to everything Asher was feeling. The last scene Hadassah and Asher had together was contentious as fuck. And it was driven by Hadassah. So Asher had every reason to believe she was afraid.
I'm not saying she didn't.
Yeah, you know.
I'm not
And
saying she didn't at all.
the fact that
Ashley was absolutely terrified.
yeah, but here's the problem though, and this is why I agree with Kenobi, where Asher took steps back. Because instead of standing up for herself and forcing Hadassah to back down, and forcing Hadassah, who was the aggressor, to calm the fuck down and disarm, she disarmed first.
Think what you want, dude. That's my opinion.
I'm just offering a counter idea.
No, I know that. but I don't see it that way personally. Others are welcome to chime in. I don't agree.
I mean, do you not agree that Hadassah was the aggressor?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I don't know
Astra
who's
entering
that's
the armory.
part of.
Astra entering the armory to pick up a blaster was an act of aggression right there.
No, it wasn't. It was preparation. That's not aggression.
Okay, if that's
Owning a gun doesn't mean you're gonna go out and just blast people.
Good point.
now staking out in front of your door was how is that not a threatening act?
It may have been, but if you think about it, Astra is not an aggressive individual.
I know.
Astra is going to choose peace over violence, and she is going to that scene makes perfect sense for Astra's character.
It does. I don't disagree with you. I just disagree with Tesara saying it was a huge leap forward because that's typical what Astra does. She sacrifices a position of strength in hopes that the other person won't fuck her up.
Yes, but that's how she's been trained her whole life to be a Jedi.
No,
Is
it's not.
is the peacekeeper? Was
No,
Astra trained as a Jedi be a peacekeeper?
no. She was never trained to be a peacekeeper. She was never trained to be a negotiator. She was trained to be a healer, but she sat in and watched everything that Saul was teaching, and for the longest time she wanted to be a hunter. Hunters are extremely aggressive.
Numerology. You really do need to sense it to me with an update of saying this, Daddy.
That sounds very interesting.
Durro, what's your thoughts?
Well, don't drag me into this.
Yeah, let's
Doro,
hear
what are
'em.
your specific thoughts on this exact issue?
I think the conversation you were having off in the background sounded way more interesting.
It
Something about
was.
daddy.
And feel free to call me Daddy anytime. But only if you pay me first, ho.
I do want to know what your thoughts are.
I mean, you don't have to answer right now. You can collect your thoughts and reply, on text chat by the fire tomorrow if you want. I
Yeah,
know
can
you said you had to go to bed, so
Yeah.
I just think the whole situation was unnecessary.
Of course it was unnecessary. I was writing off of the last scene.
I take umbrage with her parking with Hodge parking out in front of Astra's door as an act of aggression. I see that as preparation.
I didn't say aggression, I said threatening.
Isn't that either? It's not like she was banging on the door and like freaking Jack from The Shining.
Yeah, you were just waiting outside of somebody's door.
and she wasn't stomping either. Sorry, I'm going to call bullshit on that. She wasn't walking quietly, but she wasn't stomping either.
The thing is, I can see it. I can see the reasoning from both sides. Both parties made mistakes. As for the actual confrontation in the hallway, I think I think Astra handled it the way a Jedi should. I mean, a Jedi doesn't need their lightsaber to defend themselves. Doesn't even need a blaster to defend themselves. Had Hodge decided to try to strike her anyway, then the Force should be, in theory, all Astra needs for knowledge and defense.
Don't
So,
think don't think Hodge didn't know that. She remembers that conversation she had with Durro.
well, I'm sure she does, which is why I'm sure she was still iffy with the lightsaber being on the belt and the blaster on the floor and the hands being up. She was still iffy about it. I had a feeling it was because she was taking the Force into account. But my point is, I don't think dropping the blaster and dropping the lightsaber meant that Astra was giving up a position of strength. She's still a fully trained Jedi Knight, and with the Force as her ally, then that's all she really needs.
Yep.
See, that's the funny thing, because dropping the blaster, and I will tell you this straight up, dropping the blaster, purely psychological move on Hodge's part. And I know it, and so does Hadaza. She knows what the lightsaber rather. Having Astra disarm with the lightsaber was a purely psychological move to set her off her foot and make her feel weak, like she didn't have that that support, because Hodge knows exactly what that lightsaber means to Astra.
Here's the reason why the dropping of the lightsaber, not the blaster, dropping the lightsaber means nothing. Because as a free action, Astra can snap that lightsaber right back into her hand as long as it's within her space, meaning at her feet. You snap it back into her hand and activate it, as a free action. So dropping
I'm aware.
it means nothing. It's as Hadaza pointed out, it was a psychological move, and that's where I have my disagreement.
XP?
I don't see the birds. No birds, no
Well,
XP.
Astra did hesitate to drop her lightsaber.
Yes, she did, but she did it eventually.
Yeah, after she thought it through and realized, oh wait, if I don't drop this, because
Good night,
Hadaza
everybody.
knows how
Good night.
important the lightsaber is. She's probably not gonna attack me if I slowly take it off and set it but next to my feet. It'd be easy enough to get the lightsaber up and defend myself.
Oh yeah, unquestioned. Absolutely, totally know that. And Astra had already relinquished the lightsaber to Hadaza once before. Willingly and knowingly. Hadaza knows exactly what that means for Astra to be without it. Drop it, and then she capitulated? I'll grant you, she could have used the Force and absolutely got it back into her hand in a New York minute. But the fact that Hodge took the upper hand and Astra relinquished it voluntarily again to her, that matters.
I'm curious what that means to Hadaza.
Well, that's a conversation you'll have to have a little later.
Well,
My answer to that depends on are we still recording or not.
we are. I can end it though. Take that as a